I could not agree with him more what he had on his Twitter account, where he said, this story by the Jetstream is false. If unnamed sources want to attack Mark, man up and put your name to it. And Nick joins us now. Nick, I felt the same thing. I said it's gutless, it's spineless. If somebody in that locker room really feels that way about Mark Sanchez, where you're really injuring his reputation by saying the things you said, how do you not put your name to it? I mean, it's almost like an assassination.
Oh, exactly, and I think that was the big thing that hit home for me when I read it, because, people are going to have opinions all over the place, but, at least put your name on it so we can work these things out, and not to have your name attached to comments, especially comments that are wrong and that are false, is a little disconcerting for me.
All right, let's talk about the main crux of what was said, because we've had this on our air a couple of times this year. Tim Hasselbeck had come on maybe 5 weeks ago on another show on the station, and he said that Mark Sanchez has thought of as lazy, he doesn't work hard enough. And now we see that word pop up again, that the guy doesn't work hard enough. You work as closely with Mark as anybody. Is that, in fact, even close to the truth?
And not at all. And that's the thing that really bothered me about the article, was that, it was saying that he was lazy, and didn't put the work in, felt complacent, and I think it couldn't be more further from the truth. The guy puts in more work and more time, cares more about the team than I think anybody else in that locker room. And for somebody to come out and say that and not put their name behind it, really bothered me.
And it should bother you, not just the fact that they didn't put their name on it, that there are people within that room, and we don't know who they are, but they were in that room, your teammates, people that you work with, who feel this opinion. So is there a divide in that room, Nick, where there are people that don't believe?
And that's what's really getting me, is that I didn't get that at all from any of our guys. I didn't think that anyone would sit in there and say, I don't think Mark can get it done. We all believe that, Mark is a fantastic player for us, who can win games, who has won games for us. And, to have this come out, really makes me question, where it came from and the motive behind it.
Well, you do wonder the motive, but there's also another line by Greg McElroy, a guy who a fourth-string quarterback who put his name to it, and he said on an Alabama radio station, I'm sure you heard this, Nick, that this was a locker room where a lot of guys didn't care about winning or losing, just about their stats. This is a guy who put his name to it. Is there any truth to that, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think Greg got, a little ahead of himself for where he is, and, I think a lot of things, that he brought up should stay in-house and should be taken care of in the locker room. So I was a little disappointed in Greg, and we've talked about it, and that shouldn't come up again, and that's something, if you have that, if you get that feeling or you get that vibe, you should say something in the locker room, and we should fix it in the locker room.
Now, I agree with that, but I have to ask you directly, Nick, is it true? Are there selfish players in that locker room that don't care about winning or losing?
I don't believe that. I can't say 100%. I haven't gone to every guy and said, hey, are you here to win? But, I believe that the team that we've put together, the guys that we have in that locker room really care about winning, and will do what they can to win. And, if that isn't the truth, I don't want them here.
All right. This is on the record. Nick Mangold, center. I mean, this is a valuable opinion. Do you believe in your quarterback?
Yes, very much so, 100%. I know the guy, had a rough go about it. And, as an offensive lineman and in our group, we did not do the things to put him in a position to win. We did not protect him as well as we should have. We did not run the ball as well as we should have. And unfortunately, he kind of takes the brunt of the criticism, even though, we share in that blame, if not as much, as him, that we should be taking most of it.
Is he thin-skinned?
Not at all. I don't think you'd last 3 years here in New York, having thin skin. He's taken criticisms right and left, and, the best thing I think about him, and I noticed this when he first came in, that he was able to kind of block it all out and just focus on what he needs to do. And he's carried that through for the past 3 years.
Have you talked to Mark since all of this came down?
I have not.
Will you reach out to him?
I will. I'll probably shoot him a text after things settle down a little bit, and just see where he's at and see, what his mindset is. And hopefully, I'm sure he's already moved beyond it, but, I want to make sure that he knows that this isn't representative of what we have in the locker room.
All right. Are you shocked today when you woke up, Nick, or last night before you went to bed that Brian Schottenheimer resigned?
Yeah, I didn't wasn't prepared for that. Kind of came out of the blue. Saw it this morning when I got up. So we're moving forward, and we'll see what the next chapter has in store for us here.
Was he an unfair scapegoat in your struggles offensively?
I think that when you don't execute, it doesn't matter what plays are called. I think that we weren't doing. We didn't have all 11 guys at the same time doing the right thing, and it wasn't the same guy over and over. It's different guys, and that hurts us there. And when you're not executing, you can call it the best play in the world, but it's not going to work. And I think that a breath of fresh air, might be what this team needs.
With all of the other stuff swirling, I think a big loss today, Nick, and I want to get your take as you work closely with him. Bill Callahan quit. I mean, could you believe that?
Yeah, Bill got an opportunity to head down to Dallas, and I think that I wish him the best, and he was a valuable coach for me, and he was the best thing I think that happened to my career as a center, and I only wish him the best. And it's going to be difficult to fill that void, but I got faith in the guys upstairs that they'll make the right decision and bring in a guy who can only make us better.
Nick, if he got a clean bill of health, would you be on board this team pursuing Peyton Manning?
I think if anybody could get a clean bill of health, I'll take Joe Montana if he had a clean bill of health. Dan Marino, I think, would be another great one. I think it's all speculation, and I think that Mark Sanchez is my guy. He's the one I want to go into battle with, and I wouldn't be too keen to seeing that being changed.
Nick Mangold, Jet Center, nice enough to join us here on the Michael Kay Show. Before I let you go, a couple of things. Santonio Holmes, obviously there was an altercation on the field, and he was benched. We never got a chance to talk to you after that. Is there a problem with Santonio in the locker room, you think?
No, I think so. I think, things happen. We're all competitive guys. We're all trying to win, and, sometimes, emotions get the best of us, and, I think that it all kind of came to head, there towards the end of the game, and it was disappointing to see, but I know that, Tone will, fix the issues and be ready to go next season.
I mean, this is an 8-8 year, and you're disappointed because you went to back-to-back championship games, but are you surprised so much has gone on to a year where you were within a whisker of going to the playoffs?
Yeah, I think it's disappointing because, like you said, you get used to going to the playoffs and going deep into it, and that's what we expect around here. So when we don't do it, obviously everyone's disappointed.
Did you miss some of the guys from last year, guys like Brad Smith and Cotchery and Ellis and Damian Woody?
No, I think turnover happens every year in the NFL, and I think the biggest thing we missed was, having no OTAs and the lockout and everything. I think that hurt our team more than, losing guys and bringing different guys in. We're a family that needs to spend time together, and not being able to, I think, hurt us the most.
Final thing, Nick, I'm sorry. Do you believe that Rex Ryan lost control of this team? Do you still believe in Rex Ryan?
Oh, very much so. I believe, it was, a difficult year, ups and downs, and, after having 2 years of, good success in the playoffs and everything, it kind of hit us a little bit harder than you would have expected. But, I still think that Rex is a great coach. I think he's a great coach for the New York Jets. And, we should be back to our winning ways next year.
Now, one last official one. You said the one negative about his coaching this year was that he felt he didn't have the pulse of the team. Did you get a sense that he kind of lost you guys compared to the first two seasons?
No, I think it was a little bit more difficult. When you have, the first two seasons of being able to go to the playoffs and everything, some things kind of get glossed over and you don't really notice them. It's when you have a little bit of adversity when things start glaring out at you, and I think that's what he noticed. The transition from D coordinator to head coach, and he's doing the best that he can, and he keeps improving every year. And I'm excited to see what next year brings, because I know that he's going to be a better coach for having gone through this. And we're all going to be better players for having gone through it.
Shave the beard yet?
I did. I trimmed down right after the loss. As soon as I got home, I trimmed it down. I said that enough's enough.
Did you lose weight when you trimmed it?
I would imagine. My hair gained a little bit of length too, so now I got to go get a haircut too.
All right, one last serious question.
Sorry, you're very good. That's why we want to keep you on.
Obviously, you tweeted this. I'm wondering, when you picked up the paper today, now you can't be angry at the writer because the writer didn't make it up. I mean, somebody said it and didn't want his name used. In your mind, Nick, do you have an idea, or do you think you know who that person is that said that?
Unfortunately, I don't. And if I did, I don't think we'd be having this conversation because it would have been taken care of, in-house.
What if a guy calls you up today and says, hey, Nick, I said it?
Yeah, well, and then we're going to deal with it. I would really appreciate if that happened. But if it doesn't, we're going to move forward and, make sure that we clean this out and make sure it doesn't happen again.
Nick, thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me, guys.